Welcome back. We're here to do an update. Everyone's probably going, what's she doing here now? Because this is what you do when you get a lot of PDF downloads and you know the transits and you know people are going, why does it feel this way? Isn't it beautiful? So have you been having fun? We are going to do a transit update to get you guys all well and truly prepared. If you have been watching circumstances around you and be saying to yourself, why is everyone so tense? We're heading to an eclipse. Mars is in the house of Cancer, issues with tribe and family. I did say it. And those of you that are in the members, like, you know, we're entering into some really interesting times. We have pending nodal transits coming up. We're having an eclipse. It's introducing us this month. This month, I mean, if someone says this month is beautiful, I would gospelly laugh because it's very transformative when you're revisiting a brand new nodal cycle and it's coming through in a way that it's coming through in the moon. What's moon? It's mother, it's home, it's intuition, it's our feelings. And on top of moon, the first moon was a full moon in Libra, so I wouldn't be surprised if you were like, do I feel well? Do I need to, you know, emotions relating to your connection to food, emotional eating. Why? Because we had Venus and Taurus. Well, I was very happy that Venus moved out of Taurus. I mean, everyone else is like, but it's so romantic, but all you want to do is wine and dine, honestly. You just want to sit down, you want to have a good meal. I mean, I had so much carbohydrate. I was like, I love you, Taurus, but you got to go right now in that position. And Mercury is already in shadow. So crosswise issues with analytics, looking at details, maybe looking at money, your values, your money, your beliefs, the changes, how it's affected you emotionally, psychologically. A really good time to get a lot of water into you. Keeping hydrated, you know, if that means electrolytes. You know, really in the next few days moving into that eclipse because it's moving into the house of Pisces, transiting through Pisces. Clear your homes, you know, keep away. Everybody's going to be triggered. Now, if I say to you it's going to rain and you go, you know, I've just gone to the hairdresser, I've had my hair done, I've got a wedding to go to, and you get your hair done and you spend $300 and the weatherman says it's going to rain on the way to the venue, would you then go out and then say, but, you know, it ruined my hair? No, you take your precautions. You get your PPE, you get your hood, you know, and you're ready to go. So the transits are being there. Transits aren't personal. Transits are there to transform our lives. They usually tell you about key areas of subject matters. Mars in Cancer is deemed in its detriment. All of us were ever so happy. Mars was sitting in Gemini, which is a Mercury sign, since August last year. Hi, Spoke. And it transitioned, I believe, March. And by then, you know, when Mars retrogrades, when you have Venus retrograding and Mars on the same year, we're talking about an overhaul. We're talking about both of those babes, you know, really bringing big kahuna situations coming up for big transformations. And Mars retrograde, like, it's like you have a revelation. You have to go up a hill. And when it really did sit there for a long time. It was like eating the same subject or eating the same meal every day. So very intellectual. We psychologically got tired. We didn't know whether we were coming or going. And now my daughter's calling me. What time is it? Apologies. I'll just message her. So this child, bless her possum socks, she's a hammer-dialer, so she won't leave me alone till I tell her. So Mars there for all of us, it made us really tired. So if you think back to August last year, moving into 2023, psychologically, you were like, you didn't know whether you were coming or going. You might have had to multitask quite a bit. And you just would have felt very confused. And I'm actually streaming this to Facebook as well. So those of you on YouTube say g'day to Facebook. I'm so Australian, not really. Now that it's shifted away from Gemini, we were tired, okay? Because Mars is our vitality. It's, I've got energy. I can get in and get things done. I mean, most of us are still in that recovery. I'll be gospelly honest. I mean, that sleep subjects are being pretty difficult at the moment. So if you found you just can't sleep and you're thinking too much, you feel a bit nervous, and people are very snappy, especially what I've seen on social media at the moment is attacks on females. Subjects to do with parenting, subjects to do with how people should act. No, the transits, it could be issues, with your mother or issues with your childhood. Again, it's relevant. And I said this back in 2017. I went through a very interesting situation. What we could call in the spiritual community as waking up. And you never woke. You're evolving, transforming, looking at your habits, looking at your patterns, and you're transforming through it. And initially, you may isolate yourself totally into not having friends, not having family. And then we realize, just like a coin, there's two sides to every story. Beautiful therapist told me this years ago, trying to do a coaching session, with my daughter and I. She's like, this is how it is. And, this was the way she did it. She goes, okay, I want you to explain the experience that you had. And she was going, this is how it is, and that's all there is. And she actually used a tissue box. I'll grab one of my boxes. So she said to my daughter, what do you see? And so she went into a description. And she goes, okay, this is what your mum sees. See this dimension here. And she goes, this is what I see. And it's the analogy of, it's not necessarily that anyone's wrong. Each perspective exists, but how do we come to a common ground? So if we know the transits, and they're pretty testing, which this month is, why is because Jupiter, which is usually to do with our spiritual beliefs, it's long distance travel, it's spiritual education, it's the house of gurus. It's in an Aries zodiac sign, and like a clock, it's a wheel. And so each house has a different subject matter, and it's been going around. When it gets to the first house, it's really personal. It's like, this is happening to me. And it's like, yeah, but you also could be the cause of it. So it's asking us to do two things. And we haven't, when the nodes shift, what happens is collectively in the world, massive subjects come up, and they're key themes that repeat. And it's about, 18 months, 2 years, it's around a 2 to 3 year cycle max, but you're wrapping it up. When you're in a transitional stage, you're talking about two subjects. You got two situational shifts going on. There's nothing worse. I mean, Mercury retrograde's bad enough, let alone having that flip-flop thing going on. So with Jupiter, it is in the house of Aries. What it's doing is making these things on our own lives bigger. Jupiter is not a malefic energy, but I mean, we had great transits yesterday, and I had some pretty horrendous things happen at a personal tribal level. Why? Is because we have the light and the dark, and it depends on how we will relate to that circumstance, how we can cope, what our stress levels are, if we've been dumping the baggage or if we've been carrying it. If we keep carrying it, inevitably we're going to drop it if it's too heavy. So these pressure points in society are coming up leading to the eclipse, which is very natural. Men also are going to feel this very profoundly. So Chiron, the wounded healer, is sitting in Aries. Jupiter is sitting in Aries. And the moon, which can be family and home, emotions, and it's all going to link to your zodiacs in different subject matters. But everyone collectively is going to feel stressed. So when you have somebody approach you, I think this is pretty good, actually. It should feel natural. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a bit like Scorpio. It's got that feel to it. So not only are we having the eclipse, Mercury will be retrograde. So we're having this revelation of maybe being the full card in tarot and getting chucked in the deep end and going, heck, just got to jump in, have a brand new beginning in a particular area of my life. Then we have a square from Pluto. And it's so interesting that the first day of next month, Pluto goes retrograde. So talk about opportunities. And I don't think these things are negative. I think they're opportunities to go, are we sure? Maybe we need to review this. Maybe we need to correct it. And look, when Pluto goes retrograde, it can be like the carpet's ripped out from under you. Initially, Uranus worse. Oof. That baby, I don't mess with that one. I'm like, duck for cover. And you always have eclipses in two sets, generally speaking, right? So we're entering into some testing waters that are very transformative. We could be very nervous, but it's like you see a wave coming and you're like, all right, I know the wave's coming. I know it's coming. There's going to be some radical change in my life. It's going to be expanded because Jupiter's there. So it's going to be bigger than you think. Difficulties are going to come because we have a square to that moon. And when you have an eclipse, it sets the tone of changes for 6 to 12 months. But the funny thing is, by the time we get to next month, it's happening in a different area, somewhere else, again. So it's like, talk about, and it's during the shadow and Mercury retrograde. So we're being guided to think, guided to go, am I sure? To be potentially wise with our decisions. Would it be the best time to buy tech? Probably not. Keep your receipts if you have to. I am having to do some things during Mercury retrograde that I always say try to avoid. But transits tend to know what's best. And you tend to find if a transit is happening in a particular house, it generally will happen for you. It'll happen to you for you. So it could be suddenly you're going, oh God, I've got to transition jobs and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly the reason it pops off is because it was part of your transition to have that happen. Does that make sense? And so by that being activated, I mean, Giggle and I already have had situations with this second eclipse coming that we're already addressing. Why? Is because from an intuitive level, if you know the forecast, you're already working on that and it naturally will come about. So the 8th house, for instance, can do with tax, legacies, inheritances, debt. It can be really looking at a relationship and going, okay, where can we actually depend on each other and start working at building that structure? It can be wellness, fem checks. It can be the other person has a passing of a relative. It could be an old situation. It also could be changes in their money, okay? But with this current eclipse, we have 2 subjects coming up, maybe even 3. Mercury will be retrograde in the house of Taurus. Our nodes are currently there. Uranus also. What's the next one? And it's making a square. So difficulties on the day. Try and be patient. If you can delay making major decisions in your house placement, delay of such. Keep your cool. Do not argue with people. Let it go. If you need to walk away from something and you've made peace with it, that you've done the gospel best you can, hopefully it helps transform them. You can send love and light to move back from that situation and protect yourself. Mars in the house of Cancer also can be a dangerous time for feminines, children. We did see the guru most recently getting in a bit of trouble because of a kiss he had. It's, I did say with Saturn and Pisces, issues with gurus. Now, it doesn't mean to say all gurus on the planet are terrible. It's just one of those interesting aspects where we're going to critique it. We're going to squash it down a bit and feel a bit disillusioned, but then be realistic. But it's the accountability. It's the maturity we are going to require from spirituality, religion, gurus, our belief systems, and how we show up towards projecting that to other people. So it's that accountability kind of frequency. So we've got the square. We need to be aware of that. We have the eclipse, sudden brand new beginnings. Could be a bit topsy-turvy. Not the best time to do spiritual baths. You want to allow that to go through you. You want to just take a moment to digest and unpack it. It can happen a week before, even 2 weeks, 2 weeks after. Funky weather patterns for the next 2 months. Very common. I do believe the eclipse is kind of transitioning past Australia, so from the top part of the world down. So I do feel it will affect both sides. And some of the countries that do have that, you'd need to look for countries that have Libra or Aries in their chart and Taurus have a look to Taurus as well. So definitely Australia. Could be China, maybe, could be Russia. But the good part is Jupiter's moving out of Aries next month. And I'm hoping that's a good thing. I don't know about the eating extra cake, but it can be trade, beauty, agriculture. And again, it will relate to your subject matters very differently in every zodiac sign, which if I've got 5, I'll go into every zodiac sign. So give it a bit. Be prepared for next month because we're not out of the waters. We're moving through a transition collectively. You can, and I'm just going to be honest with you, you can have a lot of issues with your family at the moment. There could be mother-related dynamics. There may be moodiness, agitation with, kids, with parents, with family, with siblings, especially because we had the moon in Sagittarius yesterday. It's siblings, it's gurus, it's travel. I mean, this is the time, if you're going to travel, to really be mindful of, where you're going. I probably wouldn't right now because, Jupiter is there. The eclipse is there. Something big, sudden endings, beginnings. I mean, I would not be. I'm just saying I wouldn't be. It's a little bit like Final Destination. Being a psychic medium and then tapping into the other element of the energy, which is astrology. It's so interesting how a card, a psychic download, and the astrology 9 times out of 10 will match. So looking at that, there are synchronistic events that are inevitable to happen. As we move into the following month, whatever subject matters you had over the last 2 years that regularly came up, and you need to look back to the eclipses, and it doesn't have to be it happened smack bang on that date. It might have happened 6 weeks prior, 6 weeks after. It's a window, and then continue to evolve in each 6-month cycle because it's circular. With the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio, those subjects next month are wrapping up. Now, it's not a total eclipse, but because it's ending this cycle, you may get the grace of maybe another 6 months. Maybe another 6 months if you're lucky. But whatever that area is, whether we want it or not, if we have been in avoidance and have you ever noticed the universe gives you 3 warnings? It's like, you stub your toe and you're like, and you're so not in the moment and you're like angry about it. And then you hit it again and you hit it again. And it's like, maybe universe is saying, stop, it's time to care for yourself. But it's irritating nevertheless. So it's one of those moments. And I've always noticed we generally in universe will get 3 warnings. It's the Trinity. It's we get a warning. Oh, that was pretty close. Then it's the near miss. And it's like, I've really got to do something about that. Then it comes to you had a tower. Now, you can either bring the tower down and go, I have to just tuck in and get this done. It really pains me to do. And sometimes it can be I know what will work now. It could be with a business. It could be in a connection. It could be with a really difficult decision that you have to make, but you have to. It's those situations with these 2 eclipses, but most definitely the next one, that are quite circular in nature. Now, if you have spent 2 years with that same subject and no energy, attention, warning signs have come, mess, and shifting and avoidance has happened, well, it then does become quite messy and karmic. And it's like you're then dealing with 2 messy events instead of just spending that 2 years in the cycle tidying it up. I'll have a few of those things that I know will be there. But already, as I mentioned, within that cycle, they're synchronistically coming up. I'm addressing them. Any questions before I jump into the next section of it? I'd say, look, just be aware that people are going to be a little bit emotional. Be careful driving on the roads. Taurus is there. What would I look for? A fancy car, an agriculture truck, could be fires. You're going to see a lot more accidents. Just be mindful because Mars is in Cancer. Could be a family RV, Venus and Gemini, again, just be careful socializing in the shops, Anger. It could be very agitated checkout chick. It could be, Mars, Venus and Gemini is going to make us want to socialize quite a bit, but it also can mean that our schedule is very heavy. Emotions can be a little bit volatile because we're overtired, we're aggravated. And again, each zodiac is very different. So it's the norm to feel the weight of all that coming through as fatigue. 100%, especially you think about it. If you physically cannot find a solution, your mind's going to shut down because the ego's involved. Because my dad said this to me years ago. I mean, he was a real comedian years ago. Too much thinking, no good for the brain. And what happens in our sleeping realm is that when we really emotionally we don't really have a solution. Let go. It's like, okay, well, if it's out of my hands and I really don't have the solution right now, maybe I need to step back. But overthinking is going to fatigue you mentally. Drink, hydrate. You know, you can tap the third eye. A lot of throat chakra is coming through. So if you find at the moment that you're trying to swallow and you're having a bit of issues, Mercury relates to the throat, but it also could be that you are finding that you're kind of damned if you do if you say something to somebody, but you're damned if you don't. And it could be that you're having a difficulty with articulating what you feel is necessary to deliver, if that makes sense. You also may, because of your schedule and so many balls in the air, find that you're getting a lot of takeout. So it can be that you're wanting to, you know, you're getting home late. I mean, my dinner last night was an epic fail. I'm actually a fantastic cook. But again, running a business, getting a lot of balls in the air that are transitioning at the moment in my life. Grabbed a cheesy cauliflower bake. I saved some for my daughter. She didn't pick it up. Snooze, you lose. My partner made it. So I put it back in the oven, reheated it, and I literally burned dinner. I'm just saying, because again, too many balls in the air, right? So people will be getting takeout. I would say, and I'm going to deeply stress this, pay attention to the use-by dates on your food. Okay? We could have power outages. Could just be for a day. Could be due to weather. Agriculture. Recalls on food. Why? Because we have the eclipse is almost so close to the Taurus edge. But also moving over to next month, we have a lot of that subject, and Mercury is retrograding in Taurus. What is that? Okay, so Mercury can be it could be the postal system, issues with that. So if you haven't got your goods, expect delays. Check your emails. If you haven't noticed, logins at the moment are driving you balmy. Check all your codes for your emails. It is now the time to back your things up. Especially if you've been studying. Save the documents. It's not going to be your standard stock retrograde because Pluto is in the house of Aquarius, which is Uranian energy, which does tend to affect the intranet. Have we seen social media changing? I've got tired of even looking at analytics because theoretically, as you upload a video, you should get more followers or subscribers or comments even. If anything, every video I have added for the last 3 months, it's gone down and down and down. And I'm not the only one. So technology via astrology, already knew it last year. It's been going on for a few years, but this one's pretty big. Huge changes. Huge changes. Ears have been ringing 100%. There was one, I was doing a channel message and it was like one side. It was like deafening. Now, also with the videos that I was channeling for next week, the members have them at the moment. You guys get them next week or the end of this week. One thing I did notice in the channeling is we kind of know where we're going in our life. This is what come through. So if you find them really short and sweet, these are the reasons why. But there's something that we're needing to go through so that on the other side of this, things can make more sense and we can have context to it. Because there's missing pieces. There's also, it's a little bit like a simulation in what we call the matrix. It's like we've got to kind of go through a circumstance, unpack it a bit so that we can get, okay, what's my true calling? What's my true direction? What is my true belief now that I've had those revelations? So especially spiritually, and I always call it tightroping. It's like, I was saying this to the members today. I said, you know, when you're in that motion and you're like both sides of the fence. One side, you're like, it's like a backup plan. I always say, and the backup plan could be a person from the past that was, they were ever so sweet to you. They were like, it's okay, love, when you're having your crappy day, I will be here for you. And damn straight, they're not your forever. But you're like, they make me feel nice. Yeah, it's the backup plan. No backup plans. We're evolving, we're growing, we're challenging it, and we're moving forward. Doesn't mean to say spiritual connection. Spiritual connection, it's a little bit different. But again, you are growing, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean that you're unworthy to have love coming into your life. So in this tightrope effect, when we call, and I never do manifestation during eclipses because I accept that Mother Nature knows better than me, and it tends to go a bit better. The trends coming through with the eclipse, but it's better to let go and release. So in this tightrope, when we know something needs to be addressed, but we keep going backwards, it's like at some point you're going to have to jump left or right. You try to stay the tried and true. It could be like a piggy in the middle. And then, inevitably you're going to have to pick a side, left or right. That's kind of what's going to happen. But we're still moving. So the wave's coming. We're moving through it. We're having the download. And we're going to, okay, I get it now. Look, there can be some great things. But I also believe because Pluto takes 20 years, at the moment, because it went from 29 degrees, which is the critical degree, each one of us has had that really messing with us, transforming us, showing us some things that were hidden over the last 20 years. It has been a bit challenging, especially being in a Capricorn sign. It's very traditional. The analogy I used is, you're calling your partner, you wish they could be there. You've got a puncture in your tire and they can't get there because they've got to work. And you're going, well, there's only me. I've got to do it. And, Pluto and Aquarius is more us and me. It's different. It's because it's the whole fight for you. And it's different. It's just a different energy. Doesn't mean we won't have challenges. We can look at the age of Aquarius as great, but it can be us feeling that the status quo of our life is acceptable. And Pluto was probably going to show you maybe it's not. Now, we can take the PDF early. It's going to come, even if we don't want it or not. But there will be some things that were hidden. There will be some revelations and changes. Generally, in a retrograde, you can have some huge light bulb moments. And I'm mentioning Pluto right now is because we have the eclipse, 20th. We move into the following month. As soon as you get there, it's like, open the door. Hey, Pluto's going retrograde. And you're like, what? I thought we were going that way. No, we're going that way. Great, right? The guy I was dating told me he met someone else on Sunday. The guy I was dating told me he met someone else on Sunday. It won't work. Okay, now if this was a person, that person knew moons ago, maybe. In a retrograde, in a Venusian sign, generally speaking, new connections, same as a Venus retrograde, it don't work. Because why? That person's always going to be thinking about the past, and that person they met, they're going to be thinking about their past because we're revisiting what we already had in our life and we're shifting over to a brand new chapter. Does that make sense? Again, it depends on the zodiac. But again, probably not the best of times to have, I'm going to get in love and fall in love with somebody during no. Yeah. So, what zodiacs do we have in the house? How many do we have in the house? We've got 9. Yeah, I usually don't come live at this time. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those weird ones. It is going to be challenging. I'll just say 100%. 100%. But you know what they say? If it's truly yours, set it free. And if it's meant to be, it's like, just keep saying to yourself, I am not your backup plan. Hey, Jim. Leo, you Leos, oh my God, I feel sorry for you. Okay, number 1, and I don't really hear a lot of other intuitives or astrologers, some, they don't really mention how hard an eclipse is for Leo. It's some messed up stuff. I'm just telling you. Why? Is because you guys are sun. You're like, it's a little bit like a dark night. And you're going for a drive. and you got your high beams and you can see where you're going. Now, during an eclipse, you don't have that, and it does make you very anxious. So, PDF given ahead of time. Leos, you naturally will feel a little bit agitated, if not a lot agitated, moving into this eclipse. Also, because Cancer is your 12th house, be careful of using pacifiers. It is very, it can be very scary. It can be very traumatizing. It's not permanent. So as long as you can let go of control and move through that energy, as you shift through that, things are going to make sense after. But you also do have a lot of upheavals coming the next month where it does come to home. Okay. Some of you could move. Some of you could have subjects to do with mum or dad or family. And so both eclipses are playing out. You know, it could be kids wanting to move out. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going. And again, it won't completely be set in stone. Things will still shift around, and definitely in your romance zone, you can have some shifts happening there too, because Pluto's retrograding in your love zone. Everyone can experience, and I would predict for the next, I'd say easy a year, until we talk about the next subject matter moving into 2024. I almost thought we were in 2024. Really sad. This is what we do. We're always looking ahead, so we're always ahead. We all will be having old situations coming back to be readdressed. Okay? So, Aries, this is going to be a big change for you. You're going to learn between you versus other people. You're also going to have, at the moment, there can be a lot of attention on your home. You can have a lot of attention focused in the area of home, family. There also could be some conflict there. So it could be, where am I going to live? Getting on top of things. If you're running a business from home, it could be very active, very energetic. You also emotionally can feel, you know, like you need to express your feelings and people aren't understanding how you feel. But it also can be that you're pouring energy into your home zone, be it it's home-based business. It is, you know, it could be renting your home, selling your home, family, tribe. There's change, there's tension there. The eclipse for you is going to be affecting you personally. Now, this can come in a myriad of ways. Well, it could be that you suddenly are taking on a brand new role. You may want to do major changes. This can be of your image. The funky thing is, you know, an eclipse is not a good time to go, I'm just going to go get plastic surgery. Don't do it. Why not yet? Hold that thought. Because it's your image, it's your, you know, you may want to dye your hair. But if you're doing something extreme that's really permanent, Mercury is moving retrograde in a Venus sign. You will not like it when you get to the other side. So just pause that thought. Plus, it does tend to be, it's very common that permanent procedures, Botox, etc., you won't get the great kind of, you know, outcome, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm going to go through all the signs. I'm starting with Aries, so stick around and you'll get your zodiac. If anyone wants to timestamp, feel free. So for Aries, number one, you're going to have personal changes. You could feel tense. You are going to have things going on around family. You've got to keep your cool around that. You could be rushing quite a bit as well. And your schedule can be pretty hectic. You could transition jobs if you are in a job that you really feel is great. I feel you'll harmonize this. This also can be a time when you do meet blasts from the past and you want to reconnect with them. This is an opportunity of you taking on a different vibration in this, but you're also going to not discount yourself on this occasion. So be it you're renegotiating the terms of a current connection, or you're taking, there is a possibility of taking things personal. The other tension point can come from your friendship groups. I'd also say you're going to learn something about being a superior. This could be with your friendship groups. It might be with your management skills. You could move through roles very quickly and go to the top of the ladder. Also subjects to do with wealth. So I think the difficulty more will be, you know, maybe with the superior, maybe with your workload. Don't overburden yourself. This is a really great time to start getting organized. I mean, If we haven't done already, by the time we hit the 20th, 21st, things are going to get a bit funky because Mercury messes with your day. Mercury's the Debbie Downer, the one who's crashing your party. And you're going to go, yep, I've got to be at dinner at 8:30. Then we're going clubbing. And it's like, no, you're not, because the cab's not going to turn up and the dinner's going to be cold. It's one of those moments. But if you do things at a spur of moment, they're going to feel more pleasure orientated. If you've left your homework and you get all this work piled up on your desk, you're going to have 99 problems and your bookkeeping's still going to be one. It's one of those things. The other thing you can find for all of us is when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a good time to find things that we're missing, find new value, talk about love, deal with the devil in the detail. Notice the things that get on your nerves, and time management. It's also time. It's to do with time. Yeah, not just Mercury. We've got a big eclipse coming. We've got 2 eclipses back to back. Pluto's transited signs, and it's about to go retrograde the first day of next month. So this is why I'm here. So you're going to have tension points, changes in your career. Pluto has left that sign, Aries, for the minute. It will be coming back. Be open to have new experiences. Don't be surprised if you take a new role on. Don't be surprised if you actually start seeing yourself for the true identity of who you are, not what you feel people need you to be. So it can be, it's very personal, whatever it is. Some can get engaged, some can move to that next level, some can shift positions and take on a new role, but you also could want to change your image and your style. Anything down to beauty, hair, makeup, clothing. And stepping up in a person going, wow, you're actually a leader. We can actually see you as a leader. I would be very careful of the 11th house during that time. Be careful of shady friendships. Be careful of power struggles when it does come to friends. And if you find that people aren't valuing you and you're not getting your dollar worth, be that it's an investment, I do feel you could also find that you can be gaining money and revenue through your home. Okay, for some of you, home-based business, renting, selling, buying, investing. Again, I can't advise you financially, legally, professionally. Got to say it. Let's look at Leo. We're done Aries. I better write this down because you know what happens. I'm like, what sign did I do? Are we having fun? Lord have mercy. So what other interesting events? Oh, hey, most welcome. I was like, how do I multitask? I laugh because I'm getting my HR as well. And I'm like, do I do what? Tarot with Yildiz Readings in a truck? My second boss would kill me. He'd laugh. He watches me anyway. He'd be like, Yildiz, deliver that bloody product. Okay, Leo. Now, like I said, and I warned you. Oh, thanks, Star. Leo energy during eclipses. A lot of you are going through some hard times at the moment. And like my sibling is Leo. I have Leo clients. I mean, and your shadow sign is Cancer. Or is it Aquarius? Let me think about that one. You're similar in the energy. That's what reference I was trying to make. So, you know, Cancerians are the moon. You are the sun. Get the eclipse going. And like I mentioned previously, you're driving down a street. You guys are very direction orientated. You're like, right, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm getting in there. I'm going to get it done. All right. Exactly. And Pluto's there at the moment. So you guys are going to have some huge revelations to do with you and your connections. And it's going to be a 20-year transit. You're getting a bit of the 101 at the moment. And it can be intimate wounds that can come up for you at the moment because it's sitting in the house of Aquarius. It can be power struggles. You know, subjects to do with death and how that makes you feel. Abandonment. It also can be changes to do with the partner's money. It is 8th house, but again, we'll go into the 7th house. Your romantic sector, your friendship groups, your romantic sectors. When we look at Pluto, there are old things that have become stagnant. So what it will mean is that is going to transform your money, your career. It could be your career. It's more how you look, your money, your relationships, your friendships, your value systems, your beliefs, what your role is and what their role is. And it is going to be a 20-year cycle. Now, if you think back, give it 3 months, think back, and the last 20 years, where it was sitting for you, Leo, was in your health sector. But it was also, you could have been a single parent and you were raising your kids. You could have been, and it showed you not only the lows, but it shows you the highs of what you're able to achieve. And, it's to do with organization, time management, organization, how you look after your health, what was hidden there. It can be subjects to do with pets dying, looking after pets. I mean, I had a short transit of the 6th house. You guys have had a 20-year cycle. So, emotions to do with your body. It could have been business management. It could have been, but it's got high points too. The, jealousy, it could be jealousy of your staff members. And you're going, and this is why Leos were almost always meant to be their own managers. Why? It's because you have light, you have direction. It's not personal, but people are attracted to light. So if it's been pushing you out of any circumstance you're in at this point, stop looking at the cup half full and look at the other side of it. Why is that happening? Because you were meant for greatness. So instead of looking at it as an insult and attack, take it as a compliment and take the challenge and go higher. The other thing I would say with Pluto is power struggles. Sometimes we can actually get to a point with particular transits where we will feel so victimized that we will literally self-sabotage accidentally and feel everyone is out to get us. Between now and next month, you guys really do have a hard transit, but you have some really great things happening in your career zone. Huge opportunities for transformation and change because of these things, but they are unavoidable. Subjects to do with family, subjects to do with siblings, subjects to do with where you live. Very changeable. Okay, where the eclipse is landing is going to be in your 9th house. You may suddenly have a need to travel. You may be looking at upskilling. You could be looking at teaching individuals. This could be even moving to a foreign country, linking to a romantic partner that is from a foreign culture, looking at living in a foreign land. On the downside, it can be litigation. Keep yourself out of trouble. Keep it on the up and up. But again, it's movement. Subjects to do with siblings wrapping up and brand new chapters. Could be an engagement for some of you. Okay. But definitely I can see upskilling, transforming, tapping into your spirituality, connecting to religion. Could be engagements too. Okay. And if you're in a really toxic partner, it's like, hit the road, Jack. I'm out. I'm done. But you would generally, you've reached that to the point. You can think back to subjects that were happening for all of us. 2004, 2006, and I had a couple of other dates that are on the website. They were some times that we did have the nodes in Aries and the eclipse was within that location. Okay. Think back. It won't be exactly the same. It's because we have other things happening around this, but it can be key themes. You might have moved house, got engaged, whatever it be. Have a look at it. So big changes, big opportunities. And then we're moving into the next month. This is all going to be different. You have to get out of your head. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful creative ideas can come. But Mars at the moment is messing with your 12th house. It can make you overthink, headaches. If you're having eyesight, good time to get your eyes checked. Wounds to do with the past and they're coming up, and don't let them keep you as a prisoner. Okay. If you feel that something has really got to a point and you need to make a boundary. Thanks, Stel. If you need to make a boundary, it's like, okay, is this working for me? Maybe it's not. Maybe what I can do is go, no, I'm not going to live like this. This isn't good enough for me. And it can be therapy, because 12th house can be that you have very, psychic dreams. You can have these revelations, be really scared of the future, but it's pushing you forward to show you the way. It's pushing forward. It's saying, hey, don't believe that you can't have a new beginning, because the 12th house can be almost like that midlife crisis. Mars is messing with it at the moment. So you could have, you got a lot on your plate and you're thinking and you're overthinking and you're burning out and you're, psychoanalyzing and dissecting it and angry and taking things personal. But it also could be somebody is like saying things to you and being really mean to you, and you're holding it in. Not good. It's not good to scream, but it's also good to go, okay, why am I not believing there is a new day tomorrow? Why am I not believing something good can happen? We are going to have the good, we're going to have the bad, but we're going to have a new chapter. All right? Creative ideas, brand new beginnings. Being Cancer, it could be your family. You know, ma, pa, your kids. Pregnancies. I'm telling you. The hard aspect, like I said, during the eclipse of the 9th house, of the things I mentioned, there will be a square to Pluto in Aquarius. You could be multitasking and going, okay, I want to go that way, but I want to go that way. You could be caught in between a rock and a hard place. Give it a couple of days. It will work itself out. Think, be aware, know that you're healing, know that new chapters are coming. Next month can be a little bit challenging, but you're going to know where it's coming from. It's the home zone, right? Home, family. You could save for a house. You could go, you know what, I've been working towards that. You could be selling a home. You could be finishing a decoration. Home-based business. You could review it and relook at it. And the hard part, well, the other part is we do have, where's Taurus in your chart? Yeah, definitely changes. I mean, you might have found that you were earning quite a bit moving into the month, but you might have been spending quite a bit. Now that it's in your 11th house, there is opportunities for pay rises. Okay, Venus is there. You also could meet people at work. Just be careful. Just be careful. You know, the office gossip of somebody having a crush on you, but you also could take a more superior role on board. Let's look at Sag. Do we have any Sages in the house? Oh, pot luck. Literally turned the page and it was right there. You guys are Jupiter and you have had some messed up years. I'll just say, you know, your Jupiter, it's in Aries at the moment. So you personally can be feeling a lot is on your plate because you are a Jupiter sign. A few years back, we had the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius. You were learning about your relationships, right? You were thinking, are we on? Are we off? Are we there? Are we not? Also, we had Mars retrograde and sitting in your Venus house. Mars, I mean, yeah, that's great. It's like we're really passionate about each other or we really hate each other. So you've been a bit hot and cold. Now, be it you're in a relationship, it also could have been your memory system relating to that. Might have been money and values and stress in your love and your friendship groups, you know, very social and then very unmotivated. A lot of confusion because Mars had sat there last year from March all the way to, from August last year to March and then moved into the House of Cancer. For you, tax, debt, inheritances, legacies, old wounds from the past, being able to depend on a partner, being able to find some sense of structure and stability, it may obsess you. Jealousy and intimate wounds also of the past can crop up there on you. It might have been that if you had lost a relative, and I feel it's more, fights over inheritances, fights over, what you had versus what they have, that sort of drama. But I also find this to be very positive in a sense that if you're directing that energy correctly, you can rebuild your structure. So some of you could be saving and looking at different ways that you can shift things around so that you can actually create that in your life at a more permanent level. Last few years, we haven't been able to do it due to the aspects. Uranus and Taurus was making maybe the money system, the values, the things that we depended on, very difficult to achieve, especially last year. We have less squares this year. So it's just a more natural transition. It's going to be a little bit easier collectively. Doesn't mean to say this eclipse isn't going to bring up subjects to banking, because it will. Because we had the full moon in Libra and moving to Aries. So for you, children, okay, your 5th house, romance, children. The eclipse is happening in your romance zone. If you were in a really unhappy relationship, it's bringing a new chapter. You could fall pregnant. You could find out a subject to do with your children. A new chapter relating to your children can come in. It could be children moving out, children moving in, birthing a child, falling pregnant, creativity, home-based business. Why do I say home-based business? A is because it is creativity. So if you had a creative venture and you were looking at it going, oh, I want to do that, this can be a great opportunity for you to look at it. But it's also the way you relate to people. It also may be that you realize that you need to change maybe a habit that is not working, because it's more the luxuries. And not that I really found when I experienced the fifth house, it was like I was having a party, but you can find that you're so bogged down with certain creative projects that you physically have no time. And it can put a lot of pressure in there. Jupiter's there at the moment. And so naturally you can feel a little bit agitated with your love interests, with your children, with it can be fifth house siblings, because of the fifth house there. But a big change in creativity is coming. And also be careful, if you don't want to have a baby, be very careful. Blast from the past also can come back in here, but a new chapter over the next 6 months. Something significant is going to happen in that zone. And you can actually see it moving in a total new direction. The hard aspect is coming from your communication or your third house. It can be some information that comes in that you haven't finalized or wrapped up. So read all your fine print, okay? Pluto is making a square. This could be a car, a contract, your communication style. It's Pluto, okay? So unfinished business, paperwork, something you didn't see coming, something coming at left field. It will iron out, but that is going to, your third house of Pluto is going to be sitting there for 20 years in the long run. We're only getting the introduction to it this year, and it's only sitting in the house of Aquarius until October, and it's moving back into Capricorn. That's going to be your income sector, your net worth, your self-esteem. But I still feel we have both of those playing out at the moment. So it's like, okay, I need a pay rise. I have some plans over here. How do I do everything? How do I move this around? Do I stay? Do I go? You do have some unpacking, and challenging emotions can come up for all of us collectively. Chiron actually does relate maybe to your childhood and childhood trauma. For a new chapter for you in a confidence sense and a spiritual sense to move forward, it's about A, looking at food, diet, nutrition. B, I would say, Pisces, Saturn and Pisces is transiting through your home zone. It's like, okay, can I do this? How do I mature this? Do I need to, get balance? How can I actually create my balance and my foundation? Some of you could be saving for a house because you do have Saturn sitting in the house of Pisces. It's also where Neptune is. And this can be, if that was a goal for you, is that you wanted to have something change in that area, you're able to do that. What else was I saying? You also might have had issues with friends, okay? And that was towards the, you may be moving to a superior role. Just be careful that you know everything that goes into that. But also with Venus and Taurus, we had Venus sitting in your sixth house of health. So if you were getting burnt out and having too much of a good thing or a pacifier, you need to watch that because the next eclipse is going to activate a little bit more. But overall, opportunities for different styles of relating, different hobbies. You could be hitting the gym and going, all right, I'm ready to really turn my life around. It's going to come through in a myriad of ways depending on how you are resonating to the transits. But think back to 2004, 2006, some of the subjects, these are the things that are going to occur over the next 3 years because we're entering into a new cycle. Who do we do next? Cancer. I'm telling you, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. I'll try and hurry up. For you, number one, like I mentioned, similar to Leo, it's going to be a little bit foggy. You naturally are governed by the moon. You're very intuitive. You're really affected by the waters and the ocean. Know that you're going to be moody moving into it. Know that you can feel a little bit. You may already feel it now. I'll just be honest. I would say you personally are going through a shift. Your career sector is ready for a brand new reset. This can be moving to a next level, reviewing a different way you can do something, having wings that every time you put your energy in, you never get anywhere done on it. You're going to find a way. New opportunities are coming for you and new ways to deal with this current circumstance. You could be really burning the candle at both ends. I'd also say the square is coming in. Where can it come from? Tax, debt, your partner's money. It could be, paying off debts, getting ahead. I mean, I think everyone's trying to do that. It's temporary, right? It's an old circumstance that comes up that needs to be addressed. Some of you, it's probably already happening now. And you go, oh, shit, got to deal with this. Whatever it is, it could even be inheritances, okay? And something that was hidden, you haven't got all the information. It's not going to come to light, but I feel this is an old situation. Some gossip's going to come out, okay? And you'll be looking at it like, I knew it, but not all the information's going to come out first. What else can I say? Big changes you and a partnership, you and a relationship are ready to go to, jumping in, moving to a next direction. The difficulties that you both have endured in order to get there, and it's not for all, but it can be the things you depend on, doing paperwork, finding a new way to deal with it. You're having a difficulty, but it's not permanent, okay? Because I'm telling you, you're really going to go up a level. You're thinking you're going to go back? No. Sometimes we go back to go up. This literally between now and next month can be a higher paying job, moving up a level at work, looking after your money in a different way. But I definitely see you may need to, as we move into the later part of the year, have money coming in, but need to manage it better, because it might be one of those notions where you got copious amounts coming in. You're like, let's just have fun. Be careful. Be careful, okay? Because you got Jupiter entering into your 11th house next month. Difficulties from that section. You're going to be tense moving into it. You also can feel really burnt out. You're going to have a lot of stamina. You could be hitting the gym, feeling very, like assertive and saying, this is how I feel. You also could be more passionate. You could be a little bit, Mars tends to make things a bit obsessive. So... And I don't really see Cancerians this way. You could be really obsessed by your image at the moment because it's first house. So you could be looking in the mirror and critiquing yourself and being really mean to yourself. Or you could be going, I've really got to push it. I've got to get this work done. It's just going to happen in a myriad of ways, depending on how your energy kind of relates to it. You can also be accident prone. You may find also during a transit, and I've just noticed this personally because I've got Cancer rising, is that, I've been critical of my image, but it hasn't been on a positive front. It's like, yeah, you got to color your hair. Yeah, you got to color your nails. It had been a long time. Anyway, so Mars can be where people are attacking you and you're like, what the hell have I done? What about me? So, money up and up. I'm telling you, I see paperwork involved because you have Saturn transiting through your 9th house. It can be with children. I do see a document. So this could be a physical document, a contract, following something through. Not that, like a Mars retrograde, I wouldn't necessarily say litigation is a great deal. It could be something to do with that. But it's something old. It's following the rules, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and you're going to win the race. So just read all your fine print. Be careful during Mercury retrograde. Be careful. You could really bump into blasts from the past. You also could find money that was hidden from you. You could have lost some money and it comes back. The other thing is it can be friends that you haven't seen in a long time. And they may declare their love to you. Both my partner and I'll be, oi, I'm watching you. I was like, okay, bye. Okay, who's the Scorpio? Do we have a Scorpio in the house? What about meeting someone during your Venus return? You can do. It's like coming full circle. But Venus in your own personal chart is you returning to your own personal value systems. This year we have Venus retrograde in Leo. And so all of us collectively will be looking at a particular area of our life. Love, money, value, fashion trends can come through with Venus. It's not just romance. If you were wanting to look for a marriage partner in a chart, you would need to look for your 9th house. It could also be your 8th house because it's more, because what we deem in traditional terms are more in the spiritual sense, maybe like a physical marriage. You would be looking for not just the 7th house, but maybe the 9th and the 8th, because it's like the further up the chart you go, it's more that adulting and combining in a hard aspect, like in a retrograde in that area. You're reflecting upon it. You're seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then you make a decision. Like this year, we're having a Venus retrograde. Nobody should get married during it. I mean, the stats really looking at that is the worst possible time you physically could get married. And 99%, I believe, generally will have divorces in a Venus retrograde because we go in, my angels fair to tread and go, wow, I didn't see that. What have I got myself into? It's a time of reflection. So you will want to change your image. You will have changed feelings. It can be people from the past, but it's also you emotionally changing your value system. It's in its reset. I hope that makes sense. So, Scorpio. Bloody hell, I'm going to be here forever. You talk too much. Anyway, this is the way it used to be, right? It will be hard to get motivated at the moment. But you guys, like I said, for the Leos, you guys did have Pluto in your health sector for 20 years. You know, and you go, I'm getting there. No, I'm not. And when we have transits in Taurus, we all eat too much. So I'm a bit scared about Jupiter entering there. I'm like, man, I already ate enough carbs. I mean, I was making Easter eggs for the kids and I kept eating it. I was like, just get me the heck out of Easter. I mean, I'm spiritual, but that candy, it's connecting. I'm just saying. So Scorpio, again, big changes. Because this eclipse, you're a Pluto energy regardless, right? You're very intuitive. The North Node's being there. The eclipse is pending next month for your zodiac sign at a personal level. This eclipse is hitting your 6th house. So it's happening on the 20th. You could get a new pet. This could be a cat, a dog. I mean, Jupiter's there, so if anything, it's going to be a big one. I would be careful of dog bites. It's in your health sector. I would be careful of, this could be a big change that you are taking in a transformation, maybe in your Venus house, or maybe to do with your body, getting fit. But it also can be becoming more structured and realistic with your routine. It could be taking on a job and it's like, wow, I have to have massive organization skills. So it could be that to achieve your target or your goal, you're going to realize, because it's like a big opportunity, or it's a big situation you're entering into. It could be motherhood because it's moon. It's your 6th house. It could be I want to have a baby, or I need to get fem checks, masculine checks done, so that can happen. It's the 6th house. Whatever that situation is, be it it's routine, you can do it, but you're going to have to be very structured. It's a bit like Saturn. It's like, okay, you want to save? You put that benchmark of what you want and you go, okay, I'm giving from this date to that date, dividing it up, and that's how much I need to put away a week so that I reach my goal. It's kind of like that, and it's waking up and doing the mundane. It also can be the house of hidden enemies. It's where we actually in our own lives can be wasting our time. It's like I'm doing something over here and doing something over there. So it's teaching us about productivity so that we are more structured, mature, and more successful at achieving that dream, if that makes sense. The difficulty is coming from home. Again, it could be fem areas. It's your daily routine. It's maybe something happening with mother, something happening with family. It could be something to do with, old wounds coming up. But again, on the day of the eclipse, the tension point's coming from home. The tension point's coming from the 4th house. So if you're running a business, for instance, if you're not organized by the time you get to the eclipse, you could have all these grand opportunities coming in, second guessing yourself and having other things up in the air. But a new chapter is happening in the area of your 6th house. So by having a healthy routine with your food, your diet, your daily, it can be the eat, pray, repeat. It feels a bit boring. And it's going to be there for, you've got to take care of your health during this transit. Jupiter's been messing with it. So if you notice that you gained weight, it's because Jupiter was there, You're lucky. My Jupiter was there for 2 years. Yours is about to exit stage next month. So weight can come down. It will move into your 7th house. So you still will have to be careful. But your 6th house, it's more impactful. more in the burnout zone and the going to extremes. Jupiter was there. We can, go to extremes with emotions and eating in. And if we're being creative, depending on the houses, then when you go from the 5th to the 6th, you can actually gain weight. So you'll be happy it's moving out. And you'll want to make radical changes between now and next month. I would not do any plastic surgery for nobody. Not right now. It doesn't opt very well. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just giving you personal astrology, transit-related dynamics that can play out. The energy of Taurus with Mercury retrograding is hitting your relationship zone crosswise with love, blast from the past coming back, reworking it, memories, nostalgia. It's all there, okay? Possible reunions, possible renegotiating, looking at time, looking at retirement, but you also may want to change your style and your clothing and your image and beautifying things. What's the other thing that can happen? Tension points coming from your 9th house. I'd always stay on the right side of the law, point blank zero. It can be litigation, but it also can be issues with siblings, issues with values and spirituality. You may be feeling that people won't understand what you're going through. It could be very passionate. You could really be aching for a holiday right now. And you're trying to burn the candle at both ends, or you're making financial sacrifices so you can achieve the goal. This also can be frustration with, do I study? Do I not? Trying to cram things in. 9th house can be siblings, spirituality, religion, travel. Maybe it's you commuting and you're moving back and forward. Could also be talking at a family member at a distance and you're not quite sure how that's going to go. But the big changes will be in your 6th house, possible pet, possible new routine. It could be you taking a new role on at work and it's like, wow, this is going to change my life. It could be that you decide to take a leap of faith, a change relating to children. And I also see some sense of maturity with a parent, something going on there. Pisces. I tell you, Saturn's in your zodiac sign. If you're not moody, I'd be surprised. Saturn matures you. You could have some teeth and bone situations going on. Saturn's going to be there till 2023. No, 2022. 3, 4, 5, 2025. I had to think then. So what you can have in retrograde is reworking it, dental, teeth, bones. You could be critical of yourself. You might feel restricted. You could shrink. You could. Now, Jupiter, however, has been transiting. It was initially transiting here. It's now in your 2nd house. Your income's going to increase. But if it was like fluctuating and you were going, yeah, we're getting there, and then it was like all of a sudden it come on, Jupiter, honestly, it expands things. So how you can counteract it, it's expanding your horizons, but it can expand emotions. You can be looking at your personal habits. It might be, how do I deal with stress? How do I deal with psychology? How do I deal with my dreams and feeling delusional? Because we had Neptune retrograde last year and everything I was doing that was anywhere where that Neptune was, it was like, I'm off par. I thought I was going left and now I'm going right. It's not your fault. Saturn sitting there is going to help you intellectually look at those things and mature, to accept it and go, okay, what can I do with my body to maybe strengthen my bones and look after my wellness and grow spiritually and see myself in the direction I want to go to evolve it so I can actually reach my target. So it's not a bad thing. It can feel a bit like a Debbie Downer. It's like, right, now I've got to grow up, which you guys are very tapped in. You're very intuitive. Subjects to do with your father can come up with this, be it, their hair or not, because it's father. Neptune has been in my 7th house. It's crazy because I was really mentioning Neptune yesterday. I knew there was going to be some messed up things happening with my tribe because my Neptune is in Sagittarius and the moon was in Sagittarius. Moon is family. I was like, some shit's going to pop off with my family. And it did. And I was like, get damned if you do. Neptune comes, it's like, oh, I thought we were going left, now we're going right. But it's your dreams. It is your dreams. So don't just rule Neptune. Neptune and Saturn are going to work together. They're going to make your dreams come true, right? So for you, Pisces, your income can increase. There can be a radical expense that comes out of nowhere. It could be a pay rise. You may be maybe wanting to buy a house, or because it's net worth. It's like, your savings accounts and what you want to invest in, what you do for a living and how you get your money, but it's also self-esteem. So something big is really about to pop off in that domain. Somebody could come to you and go, I've got this amazing thing. Or it could be where you currently are. But it could be actually going, hey, my plan is over the next 6 months. Or it could be happening right here, right now, this month. You're signing something, which is always the worst time. But like I said, I really don't feel. I feel, if anything, you just have to have, caution, reading the fine print, hoping for the best. And, there could be more paperwork a bit more after. And it's only because Mercury retrograde is not the best time to sign. But like I said, I'm doing some HR driving lessons during Mercury retrograde, and I've got a choice. Worst time, but it is what it is. What else do I see for you? Difficulty coming from... okay, let me think about this. It's your 12th house. It's like, what is that new beginning? 12th houses are, look, it's gurus, it's psychic, it's where we feel we're getting too old and, we're over the hill and it's never going to be anything. It can be, mentally, some of the fog that you've kept in your brain and the belief systems, it's the hidden realm. It's like, oh God, I didn't know I thought that. So it can be to do with psychology. So if you found there was a really challenging thing that you really couldn't get past, it could be not even going to bother naming it. Don't be too proud to go and get help. If you feel it's really messing with your life, go, you know what? I'm going to go deal with this. This has started really messing with me. I'm not going to let that affect me. But what it is you also, at a very creative level, could have this sudden revelation and heal yourself and go, wow, I didn't know I believed that about myself. I didn't know I was carrying that demon around for so long. And I just feel so much better that I've honored that thought and gone, whoa, that's not true. I don't have to believe that. That doesn't have to define me. But it also can be from the 12th house to the first house. You're having this like grand new beginning. The difficulty is going to pass as a square to this location of your 12th house. You also could have, and this does remind me of my mum. Bless ya. She's got Pisces, Aquarius in a chart. It's like, I know what I know, and you're wrong. And then you go, so it can cause those conflicts. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, look, I know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. But the sky's bloody blue and you're looking and you're going, it's grey right now. Okay. But they set the rate. I'm just saying, 12th house can be that. It also can be very intuitive where you do pick things up before they happen. But don't be surprised if, somebody's really being like messing with your head and you're like, I really don't want to deal with you. It can come out because Mars is in Cancer. This also can be very passionate. Pregnancies are possible with you guys. I'm telling you, be careful. Mars is sitting in your 5th house. Very creative, very active. You could be very social. You could be social little butterflies at the moment. And yes, misunderstandings can happen. Pregnancies too. Creative projects, you could be pouring energy into it to get something done. Socializing with friends, socializing with family, dinner parties, romance, flirtation through text. Yeah. Hot, you know what? We're just going to leave it there. Have fun with that. Next month, different subject. It will be... We'll leave it. Siblings, travel, changes, big changes. So we've done Cancer, Scorpio. Should we do Libra? Oh, Libra, you and Aries up in the sky shortly for a good 3 years, roughly 2.5. Okay, so Libra. The full moon happened this month in your zodiac sign. So if you suddenly went, you know what, and I can guarantee you, if you know any Libra or any Aries, by the time we get into 2025, you're not going to recognize them. Jupiter is expanding situations in your 7th house. So it can be money, contracts, your image, your emotions relating to it, your body image, your love. Jupiter is expanding it. It's also expanding your horizons. This could be your reach. This could be your connections. It could be a brand new job, signing contracts. coming through with the eclipse, the difficulty is going to come from your 5th house. It can be creative projects, trying to get things done, misunderstandings with love or children, or not knowing what that's going to be. This could also be a sense of community and feeling, okay, am I going to fit in? Is it going to work? How do I get everything done? How do I manage it? If you can be organized, great. It's a temporary feeling. But you're also going to find that if you're wanting to get fit, your style of recreational activities, this can be you loved, running, and now you're going, can't do that now. And you look to swimming. Your style of social kind of experiences is going to be very different. You're going to go through some interesting things over the next 20 years. You're going to go anywhere from, I used to love just going and having a cup of coffee and, a piece of cake with a friend, and then it's going to be, let's go skydiving. I mean, talk about variety. You also could jump into some very difficult taboo subjects with a romantic interest. This could be to do with children. This could be to do with childhood. This could be happening your side, their side, with the joint connection, really kind of unpacking it. You also could feel as though, an aspect of your happiness and your bliss is being hindered in some shape or form, and so you got to shake off the cobwebs. Tension points coming in your career sector. You're probably putting a lot of energy into it, or you're absolutely obsessing about a sense of purpose. Am I going to be okay? How is it going to be? How will this come to be? Definitely for those of you working at the moment, you're going to be extremely busy. It is going to burn you out. You are going to have to get rest. But you also may want to, it's a little bit like the crystal ball, and everyone wants to know what's over the other side. That's how it can feel for you. Very obsessive, but you're very driven in that department at the moment. Like I said, tension point coming between relationships, romance, misunderstandings. You could get a bit snappy. It's temporary. It is temporary. Big changes in this area. Venus also, you're going to be very social. So if you think you're just going to hermit mode inside, some of you want to, you're probably not going to be able to. You do have the 9th house here, so there could be money deriving from a foreign country, advertising, upskilling. You could be training somebody. There could be perks. It could be travel, driving, marketing, internet, education. The list goes on. Also tying up a large bill. Pluto, 5th house, let me think. I always find Pluto, especially when it was in Capricorn, between now and October, don't be surprised if you get a fixed white goods. Bloody hate that. So big changes, blast from the past coming back, renegotiating it, big changes. Some of you could go from being single to couple, couple to single, couple to engaged, couple to married. Definite changes. Okay. Libra. We'll go Gemini and Aquarius. Okay, so Gemini, Mars had messed with you. Venus is in your sign. You're wanting to, you're going to start focusing on your personal values. You also may be more kind to yourself. Venus, yeah, you might want to do your hair, your makeup, spoil yourself. You could be hot in demand at the moment. You also could feel a little bit confused if people aren't appreciating who you are. Now, the big dynamics and the big changes are coming into your social circle. That can be with you as a superior. You're moving from one level to the other. If you're having conflict with a manager, that could be so. And it could be giving you the PDF and you're going, why am I here for? Why am I putting up with this? Mars retrograde in your zodiac sign did cause a lot of stress for you guys. It was there for 7 to 8 months. It's now sitting in your self-esteem sector and your income sector. So finances you're going to be absolutely obsessed. This could be to do with protection of your home and land, which I did advise. It was like, look after your assets because you have Mars in that placement. Smoke alarms, protecting your assets, reviewing your net worth, and feeling protective. It can be where you're going, is it going to be okay? Is it going to grow in wealth? And, money derived from employment can also be something you're working very hard for. And it does cause lady luck accidentally, right? So a lot of attention and focus is here. The eclipse is happening in your 11th house. 11th house is good. I mean, this can be like rags to riches. If you've been burning the candle at both ends and spending, this is going to make you look at it more so from a point of view of, oh, wow, okay, new opportunities, new ways to deal with circumstances, new friendships. You also could be going from being a co-worker to a manager. A large creative project, if it's a home-based business, you also can derive income from it. Mercury retrograding in Taurus may drive you a little bit crazy. How you deal with your stress levels is going to be critical. I would say be careful of pacifiers because Mercury retrograde in Taurus is transiting your 12th house. Your dreams happening can come from your 12th house as well. Literally, I never expected that to happen. So be open to brand new situations coming your way. You might have been a bit emotional yesterday or the day before because we had the moon transiting your romance house. It usually can be a bit of a topsy-turvy time where you can feel a little bit funky in that domain. You do need to look after your wellness. A is because you're Mercury. Mercury is retrograding, and we also have the following month's eclipse happening in 6th house of health. Just an FY. Aquarius. This is going to be an interesting one for you guys. We're entering into we're transitioning into the age of Aquarius. It's a process. It's a process. Now, you have had Pluto sitting in the Guru 12th house. So if you found you mentally through your belief systems and your conditioning and your values and, your privacy zone of it can happen so many ways. It could be psychology, in the earlier years, depending on the age bracket you are. Some can use pacifiers to cope with stress because they consume it in, they feel it, they feel isolated, and it's like the house of imprisonment. So what can happen with the 12th house is it can link to prisons, mental asylums, gurus, psychics, endings and new beginnings. It's like, say you had someone that was deeply important to you pass away and you have to have a moment. This was a 20-year cycle, and it's not to say that you had all these horrible things, but you had belief systems. It's like the vault and reviewing and looking and changing. It's moved into your 1st house of self. You are going to have a square aspect to this eclipse that is happening in your 3rd house. This can be something to do with travel, something to do with your day-to-day routine. Be careful driving. Now, moon energy can be your daily routine. You expressing how you feel to do with things, how situations are happening for you. You could sign a physical contract. This could be something to do with a car, a contract, technology. But for me, it's like your daily routine, how you show up. You could be expressing exactly how you feel, but you also, with your image and how people see you, your role in society is going to be changing over the next 20 years. I mean, you get to that other side of it, you're going to be like, the things I do in my life and the things I believed other people thought I was, it is so not that. Could this transit be a little bit testing for you? I do feel so, Dales, okay? Number one, Pluto transiting your 12th house for that long has been transformative, to say the least. Saturn also is transiting through your 2nd house. It's mature. It's almost like you could feel the pinch, but you also could be making, the budget tighter so that you can reach your goals. But Saturn restricts, so it could be mainly that you're investing in something and paying it off, and it's like, well, it's a contract, so it's going to lock me into it, Saturn, to mature me. It could be, putting money in the bank and it's maturing. But your dreams are here too. Your dream amount of money, of what you want, your confidence in able to be who you are, to accept who you are, that is there too. What else do I see? You need to be careful with burnout, okay? You could be very tense around wellness. You could be you could be really fed up with doing the eat, pray, repeat. hang the washing. And I keep using these cliches, which to me, like, I don't actually look as dishes as women or men. It's either or. So if I'm saying anything that you feel is cliche, I deeply apologize. Changing the spark plugs in the car. I just, I need to find some better analogies. So, if you've been each day getting up, cleaning the house, going to work, the eat, pray, repeat, and feeling you have to do everything, you could get a little bit moody during this time, but you also could feel there's a lot on your plate. You do need to look after your wellness. You do need to not burn out and, forget to eat, or it could be also emotional eating because of this placement, but there could be conflicts surrounding family, and you need to protect yourself also. This could be for pregnancies, for, feeling burnout, feeling anxious, feeling obsessed, but also having a lot on your plate, trying to get a lot done. You could have been worried about moving home. What else do I have for you? Okay, so difficulties with you, big changes. Okay, some of these things could be a change in direction, but your routine completely is going to change. Some of you could be looking after parents. Some of you could be taking on a new role of a home-based business. Some of you could be signing a new contract. What else do I see? Yeah, and you may find that, okay, if you were studying, now you're going to be actually doing the contract, if that makes sense. If you wanted to study, but then it's put on the back burner, what you're needing to do is focus on the third house, which there's a lot of paperwork you guys may be dealing with. Old paperwork. It could be you lost your birth certificate. You've got to get that back. It's like paperwork, getting things in order. Saturn also you're going to be maturing your income stream. It's going to be going up. But you also will need to look after your oral health because Saturn is bones. So this can be your mouth, your teeth, oral hygiene. What else? There's good luck there, okay? But just a little bit challenging. Pluto will move back into your 12th house in October. So you've got a little bit of time, but because it's at the 29-degree point, Pluto went from 29 degrees Capricorn over to 0 degrees Aquarius. You're going to get both as far as I'm concerned. You get, it moves back into that zone again. It's a degree. It's just a degree. You're going to feel both. You got two subjects playing out. You like new beginnings. Oh my God, I'm thrown in the deep end. That's how it's going to feel. So Capricorn, you guys, it's your income sector. Big changes happening there. You guys have changes with your wealth, changes with your self-esteem. You guys are the shadow sign of Cancer. You have a lot of changes back in, what do we say, 2019, 2020, 2022. Lots of changes. Okay, so you're going to be able to make the changes with your wealth. Investment in properties, the growth of it, your confidence, maybe eating related dynamics that you need to kick to the curb. Whatever that is, it's going to change. It could be a bit testing. It could be a bit testy on subjects where you're going, oh, do I want to deal with this? Why? It's because read the fine print, for God's sakes, honestly. There could be something, you may need a repair on a property relating to plumbing, bloody Pluto, I'm telling you. Make sure you check things. If you have a move into a house, read the fine print, look at the environment. I also do see a lot of you guys even entertaining maybe home-based businesses. Jupiter is there at the moment. It could have been you were working really hard, having issues and changes with family. Now, whatever subjects that is, be it it's you're, going to be caring for children, running a home-based business, caring for a parent, looking at home and changes. The North Node will be there for 3 years. There can be some changes quite regularly and frequently in this domain. You also will have the testing point of, balancing the confidence, feeling unstable, and do I go left? Do I go right? So how could that look? I would say there could be an unexpected situation to do with wealth, income, increase, contracts, read them, difficulty around that time. There could be worry, but there also could be an old bill that needs tying up. Brand new beginnings relating to home. new situation happening with maybe a family member. This could be a renovation or something that you're wanting to do to beautify the home, something you're investing in, moving home. Now, when you have this, what you need to understand is generally when we have a transit, it's going to aid you in that amplifying. It's a little bit like a porthole. So it means, okay, well, this window is open for you. So therefore, if that was something that you wanted to achieve, it means it comes more freely to you. The only hard part is we have Mercury retrograding in Taurus. This could be to do with love or children, confusion. Keep your schedule pretty, fine. Try to keep to a schedule. Crosswise can happen. You also could reconnect with family and friends. For some reason, I'm just getting, you guys could be pulled in two directions. It's like, do I live here? Do I live somewhere else? This could be to do with inheritances and siblings because we have the 5th house here with Uranus and Taurus. And Mars at the moment is transiting through your Venus sign. Okay, so this could be a very passionate time. You could have old wounds relating to intimacy, sexual wounds. You could be obsessed by love. It could be meeting somebody and you're absolutely obsessed by them. It can heighten your drive, but it can also make you want to, like, you could be hitting the gym and going, I really need to get this done. I really need to get fit. Jupiter's transiting through your 4th house. There could be some stresses, like I said, coming up around family and home, feeling pulled in two directions, but there is a new chapter for you. This can be in your daily routine in life, or it is that you're saving for a home, or you're, starting to do things. Could be something for another person. This could be like community service or something like that. Something you do for the community that you choose to do. But I feel it's more surrounding a family and a home. Feel free to book a reading if you have a question, or we do have super chats this Sunday coming up. What else do I see here? I have transitions and changes in career, because the South Node is going to be your 10th house. So there could be shifts in career. There could be shifts in the way you deal with things. It could be you were working in a base and now you're working at home, or you're working at home and you're, going to work. Your role also could be changing. This could be because of like caring for family or parenting, or looking at retirement, wanting to travel, starting a creative project, maybe starting a home-based business. Tension points, like I said, around family and home. If you can avoid anything plastic surgery like till Mercury goes direct, probably better. Yeah, but just be aware that there could be an unexpected expense or unexpected thing to do with money that you're dealing with, or an asset coming through from the 2nd house. Virgo. And then we've got Taurus and we're done. I'll answer a few questions. Only readings, well, I do the super chat readings on Sunday. I do have the members there, which I have scheduled the sessions for those of you that don't know. Like I said, this is a tense time. I'll give you a few tips at the end of this for all of us who have stuck around. So who did I say, Virgo? And then we need also Taurus. Taurus also is going to go through a lot of changes because obviously the nodes are in Taurus. It is going to get better. I'm not crossing my fingers behind our backs. You're going, I don't believe you. It's not true. Ever have those days you're like, don't believe you. It's not real. It's not even a thing. That's one of my daughters saying. So, okay, so Virgo, your Mercury. Those of you that have followed me for a long time, I always say this to you, because your Mercury in nature, when Mercury goes retrograde, look after your wellness. Crosswise can occur. Let go of control. Allow the energy to come in, but also look after your wellness, okay? That's number one. The way you deal with your confidence and self-esteem and net worth, we had a full moon. You might have felt, you might have tied up a bill. You might have tied up a debt. There could have been a stream of income or an asset that you wanted to get rid of. You also might have looked at binding assets, growing that, but there's something changing because we had a full moon there. When we move to July, the nodes are shifting. I believe it's July. Is it June or July 17th? We are having the North Node move into Aries, where this eclipse is this month. So this whole month has been almost like a PDF of what's coming. synchronistically bringing the other chapters to an end. Breathe. It's going to be fine. So you are intellectual, right? It's almost like, oh my God, I'm trying to accumulate money. I'm trying to get my finances, my confidence, my self-esteem, my diet. The good thing is, because it goes to the South Node, what it's showing you is the North Node, and it's to do with attracting individuals into your life that you can depend on. It's about finding different ways to generate a permanent income. So how can that look? Okay. 8th house can be an interesting one, because it happens in a myriad of ways, but it also does from an emotional point of view in manifestation. So it can be, I'm looking at shares, one way. It could be subscriptions and creating home-based businesses. It could be investments. It could be daycare, for instance, because it's the healthy codependency. It's something you can depend on to get your job done. So it could be you're a single parent and you are trying to go to work and you're like, how do I do that? How do I create some system or structure that I can depend on that's a bit more sustainable? Because it's the more, the further up the chart we go, it's more it's maturing, it's educated itself, it's learning. So this eclipse can bring, illicit affairs out, okay? Sexual wounds, the dirt, chucking you into a new beginning. You go, I can't believe you did that to me. But it also can mean you, with a love interest, are going, okay, let's renegotiate the terms. What do you look for in a partner? What do I look for in a partner? How can we actually recharge this? And also, generally on an eclipse, it's 8th house. It can be changes in your partner's income. 8th house is a myriad of things, right? Legacies, inheritances, tax, and it is Scorpio in nature. So this is more, you are going to be moving into a more stable way of dealing with things and starting to attract healthy, okay? Starting to attract things you can depend on, and it's going to be realistic, but it's also going to be very intuitive. Tension point coming with Aquarius is, like I said, your health zone. It could be looking at what used to work before. Look, it could be allergies to foods. It might be, I'm eating this, or I'm dealing with this routine. And it could be, because 6th house can be the house of an enemy, so it can be your habits. It could be like, am I sabotaging myself? Am I getting emotional? Am I doing too much? People, it's like, you're taking the trash out, you're doing the dishes, and nobody's helping you. It's like, okay, how can you structure that routine and articulate what it is, what you need, but also be in detachment? It can be like the changes that you want to make, and how tired you're feeling, and how that is going to be, if you are wanting to go on a diet and lose the weight. And I don't know why I keep going to that. It's going to be a gradual thing, but it's like slow and steady wins the race. It's like, okay, what can I look at? Is it an emotional thing? Let's journal. Is it a dietary thing? Let's check what's triggering it. The other day I literally said I'm going to buy a baby bottle, because whenever I'm emotional, I pacify. And why is that? Because we eat our emotions. Not everyone, this girl here does. And so I literally showed my partner a baby bottle, and the funny thing was it had an elephant on it. I was like, if I look at that, I'm going to know, look, you keep going the way you're going, this is what's going to happen, girl. No shade. It's about me. It's not about you. It was the psychology and personal awareness of it. So Venus is going to open up opportunities for you in your career. But remember, Mercury will be retrograde. So it may look great. This can be your purpose, your direction, how you feel, articulating yourself. But remember, Mercury will be retrograde, so there can be missing information. Don't go in my angel's fair to tread gauge it. If you do want to apply for a job, for everyone and for you, Virgo, it could be a good time to actually network out during Mercury retrograde and then make a decision as it goes direct. Mars is also causing conflict with friendships, but it also could make you very passionate, very assertive. It could put more pressure on your shoulders to maybe get a creative project off the ground. It could be management. This could be issues with tribes and groups. But again, I feel it's more to do with direction. I feel it's more to do with, okay, I know where I want to go. I know what I want to achieve. I'm working hard to make a dollar. I'm looking at potentials I can address. Yes, I'll leave it at that one. Mars is transitioning out. You could get a bit up in your head next month. I'm just saying. But your dreams can come true. And Venus this year is retrograding in that location. So changes in your income, your romance sign has maturity happening there. And I think that's really, I think Jupiter made my waistline expand. What zodiac are you? I can't remember now. I don't know, but we did have Venus in the house of Taurus. And I'm like, whenever I see the moon in Taurus, Venus in Taurus, I was like, I always warn the members, step away from the cookie jar. I was like, as soon as I'm eating, I'm like, I know that Taurus. Why? Because it's a Venus sign. You know, and as soon as I see that there, I mean, you could have had the crappiest Easter eggs and you would have thought they taste like gold. It's also our nervous system, so it's like emotional eating and nervous eating. We've got to be aware of that. Drinking excessively, it's like, So Virgo, Saturn is reducing, it's restricting, but could there be some testing points? Saturn and Neptune are going to make your dreams come true in your love life. They are, but it's also about looking at the maturity and the realism, the dream, but the realism. So you're trying to really weigh that scale at the moment. It is going to attract things, but it's going to be more mature energies. It's going to aid you in spiritually maturing. You're going to look at your bones and your teeth and your wellness. It is going to even out, but you can have you can have some very intimate connections, very spiritual intimacy, but definitely in the 8th house, it can be brand new chapters and directions moving forward. Taurus. I've got to find Taurus. I was looking for it. There you are. Hi, Taurus. Okay. Now, Venus was in your sign, so if you might have felt pretty good, right? And then we had Venus move over into the house of Gemini. So now this could be to do with your confidence and your self-esteem. Now, Venus is there. Money can increase. Pay rises are possible. You also may have a lot on your plate. Be careful speeding. Be careful with your communication, because communication style, Mars is transiting your 3rd house. So it can be warlike, defensive, angry, frustrated, but it also can be that you are really in a rush to get everything done. The eclipse is landing in your 12th house. You're going to have an ending and a new beginning. I mean, that's an end of one life and a beginning of a new. The 12th house is a unique place. This could be sudden revelations, grand ideas, but it's in your 12th house. And the 12th house, it can even be towards you having an ending and a new beginning. It could be finally deciding to go to a guru, a therapist, a coach, but it also can be rags to riches. It's like, oh my God, I won lotto. This is amazing. I can't believe this is happening. You actually getting thrown in the deep end and actually pushed into a superior position. Forewarned, Jupiter at the moment is here. So in this placement, Jupiter, which expands things, it can be to do, projection is possible of your belief systems, because it's like the guru energy. Emotional suppression due to you feeling you can't articulate something. I'm giving you a myriad of ways this can play out. Memories from the past, positive, negative, they're all, it's all going to be there. Creativity, it's like, trying to solve a problem and then you're looking at it and going, wow, I didn't know that. Now, 12th house can be, as a breakdown, mental asylums, can be litigation, gurus, therapists, addictive tendencies. So what we do to pacify, it is going to be there for 3 years. So say you were looking at it and going, man, why do I keep thinking for this, right? Then it's like having that revelation, well, no, I don't actually have to live like this forever. If this is affecting me, I'm going to just bite the bullet and I'm going to go and do something about it. I'm going to talk to somebody and I'm going to get this crap off my chest. Or it does tend to have also a trend where you become isolated because you want to go into hermit mode. You don't, could have been through shame or feelings or just being really unsocial. That is a possibility. But this also can be dreams come true, perfect dreams, psychic energy, awakenings, and awakenings don't come through perfectly. It's like a giraffe being born. It's like, oh, heck, I'm in this new realm, and you're trying to ease yourself through it. It's transformative. But Jupiter's moving out of your 12th house, so it's going to calm things down. And Jupiter, technically, it can be to do with religious gurus, your destination, situations to do with your siblings that have been affecting you. Religion, again, 9th house. Study, you could have been really busy. Oh, my God, am I ever going to finish this? It's next month moving into the house of Taurus. Like I said, your world is going to change. But it also can create expansion in, like I said, your role in society, what you're doing, how you're feeling, but also our body. And it's there for till 2025, I believe. Yeah. So 4 4 arms, wear loose clothing. That is one way you can counteract it. And then as that image you're building and you're gaining in that vibration for self-esteem and confidence with this new role, you can beautify yourself. It also can do something quite positive where you become very fit. You become very like, okay, I'm pouring it into bodybuilding. I'm pouring it into beautifying. It's the Venusian energy. It's personal though. So it won't just be your vessel, darls. It will be what's going on the inside. Because when we look at the first house, it's a personal thing. It's, this person is like just loving on me. And, those days where someone says, God, you look beautiful. And you go, I feel crap. That's the first house. So it's your image. It can be your status at work and the hierarchy, your groups and your friendships and how they see you. It's your attitude going into it, but it's also, oh my gosh, why did they say me that way? And it can be some nasty things that people say, but it can be some really positive things too. But you personally, it's not just going to be on the outside, it's in here that's going to change as well, because it goes from the first to the second. At the moment, you can have that going on. You can be drinking more at this point. I'm just going to FYI you. So if you're anxious and you're social and you're having a bevy or two, just watch it. Moving into the eclipse, it can be a bit tense. 11th house as well, money management. That is going to help you. This can be a lucky time for wealth, but you also can feel to a degree restricted. Like, it can be a project you're doing. It's really restricted. It's really like a lot's on your plate and you're trying to get everything done. You also could be trying to reach savings goals. And so you're saying to yourself, no, I'm going to reduce this so I can get that. I have a goal in mind. Big changes in your love next month. Okay. Your 7th house is Scorpio collectively for your zodiac. If you want me to look at your individual chart, it'll have a different house system, different aspects. So I can then personalize that for you. But for this, the collective, Scorpio, we're having an eclipse in your relationship sector next month, but it's money, body image, love. Especially during Mercury retrograde, there is an opportunity for tension coming from your personal purpose and the changes you want to make in your life, but it can also be blast from the past. And I don't know why I keep saying it's a little bit like we have balls in the air we're trying to juggle. It's like I'm trying to do this over here, I'm trying to do that. It also could be a little bit of selfishness with the Aries energy. So just protect yourself, guys. If you're going out there on the street and people are very aggressive on the roads, home fires and homes, because Mars is in Cancer at the moment. So security with your children, female security, not attacking people on social media, not personalizing our trauma and projecting it, being aware that everyone's going to be moody. That would be at the least to do, but it's transformative, and it can look messy. We can have certain countries in the media, but we definitely can have delays in, say, your vegetables, your banking systems. We can have that come up. It can be power outages or different technology coming through for, say, solutions for it, subjects to do with retirement. We've already seen that in the media. Any questions while I'm here, or I'm going to hit the road? Basic questions, not personal questions. Could be a transit based. It might be a tip that you want. Otherwise, hello Facebook, hello YouTube, and I hope you both enjoyed it. I'll try and do these here and there. I just didn't want you guys moving into these two energies over the next 2 months without pre-warning. It's a funky time. And look, especially wrapping up a nodal cycle. I mean, we're having the eclipse in Scorpio next month. Pluto is already a very Scorpionic-related dynamic. Wrapping up a cycle, it's like all the things that we have unfinished business on. If we didn't do anything, well, yeah, the closer we get to that, wherever that Scorpio placement is and the Taurus placement is, it's going to look messy. Yes, but I really do feel, depending on your zodiac sign, Venus being in Mercury will be physical communication, bumping into them, people valuing you, unfinished business, the unfinished business energy. And plus, even the fact that Pluto is exiting its sign by the end of this year, moving into next year, that alone is a 20-year cycle wrap-up. So that, again, is another signifier that we are going to have people from the past coming back. And that can be like your friends, your childhood friends. You could be revisiting it. Remember, 29 degrees is like, it's time to wrap that up. We've got to go. It's not over yet. It's coming back again. But because it's on that cusp energy, so, they're hanging out. Two things are playing out. Might have really popped off around 2019, 2020. We had the Great Conjunction. And the pressure point was there in that Capricorn energy. And it's wrapping up now. It's like a wrap up. That's a take. Well, it was nice to see you all. If you don't need a booking, you can go to the website. The link is directly below. I did connect it for both YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you during the week.